But Matt, you were the one who suggested mechs. How were you? How did you feel after?
TNMP, the Nerdy Misfit Podcast, with your hosts, Connor O'Neill and Matthew Hughes.
What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Nerdy Misfit Podcast. Today we'll be covering the anime of the month.
Yes.
Which, if you're new around here, I'll simply go over it. Basically, we watched an anime this month, and now we're going to talk about that anime. And that anime is Mobile Suit Gundam: The Witch from Mercury.
Or as Japanese.
Air date fall 2022 season 1, spring 2023 for season 2. Episode counts 12 each, and there is
A prologue.
definitely a prologue, which I definitely recommend watching. Studio is Sunrise. I've done stuff such as Gintama, Code Geass, other mech anime. Genre is mech school space. Currently staying at a 7.84 for season 1 and 7.89 on season 2. And currently has 110,363 people who have completed the show. Jumping into the plot quick. Just looking at my plot. It's long. It's a long.
I can just read the synopsis if you want.
Listen, I read the synopsis, and the synopsis I'm out, as you'd expect, is nor great nor bad.
Yeah.
It's very
It also is
not
only season
spoiler.
1.
It's like not spoilery.
Yeah.
Basically, the prologue starts us off by setting up that the gun program for mechs, for Gundams is banned or is on the verge of being banned. And there's like this whole conflict going on, and basically leads to them being banned in the middle of following this mom and her family of her daughter and her husband. And basically it doesn't go so good.
Nope.
And the mother does end up escaping, and basically the big important part at the end is her daughter does end up sinking with the Gundam that's there, which hasn't been done because Gundams basically kill people.
Yeah.
If you're a pilot of a Gundam, it basically just slowly kills you. And this daughter, who's like, I don't know, 4 or 5 or something,
Yeah.
basically is the first person to sink with a Gundam. And then we go into the real anime, where we follow a character named Suletta Mercury as she comes to a school. Also, this takes place in the AD Stella timeline. For anyone who's a huge Gundam fan, the reason we picked this show is because we know nothing about Gundam. So if that's important to you as a Gundam fan, that's the timeline we're in.
Good to
know. But yeah, we knew nothing going in. And I feel like, generally speaking, there may have been some hints at maybe
the larger
OG
world.
Well, I was thinking some OG Gundam designs. I've definitely seen the looks of them before, perhaps based on other Gundams. Don't know, but just saying. But generally, it definitely was its own story, and you can just watch this and not know anything about Gundam and be okay. Anyways, other important things before going in, there's some sort of divide between Spatians, those who live in space colonies, and the Earthians, who are Earthlings. I don't know why they're called Earthians.
Yeah.
Very weird. Anyway, the Earthians are like oppressed, and it's not doing so good down there. Jumping into season 1, we have a school, the Astacacia School of Technology, where our main character ends up going to school for. I very much dislike this, but we start off with Mireen, who is, as far as we know at this point, a spoiled brat.
Yep.
And she doesn't want to be with her dad anymore because basically the school has this program set up where you can duel to become her fiance. And she's like, I'm done. I want to leave. I'm going to Earth. And she's trying to leave to Earth. And while this is all going on, that's when Suletta Mercury shows up, basically saves her from space.
Yep.
And then they go to school together. And kind of just, it's this combination of slice of life, mech fights, and then overarching politics.
Yeah.
And that's kind of just where we go. We kind of get some development of the main characters. We kind kind of see the knowledge of what people know is a Gund or a Gundam. And that becomes a big plot point once they figured out that Stelletta Mercury's mech that she brought is a Gundam, but isn't a Gundam. It's kind of like the big, oh, you're using a Gundam, that's illegal. But then they're like, but then she's not dying, so is it a Gundam? And then her mom's like, this scientist who made the Gundam or made the mech, and it's like, it's not a Gundam. If it was a Gundam, it would kill my daughter, but it's not killing my daughter.
Couldn't be a Gundam.
And so there's a lot of politics going on with that. But while that's going on, we have a lot of duels going on between Stelletta and other high-ranking members of society's children.
Yep.
Who all want this new mech because they know it's a Gundam, even though it's basically like, classic business fluff where it's like, it's not this, but technically it is this.
It's not a Gundam.
Yeah, exactly. But they all know it's a Gundam and they want it. And yeah, we just kind of then follow the slice of life of Stelletta Mercury kind of learning to make friends, interact with humans, because somehow she's very antisocial. But also in the meantime, she's fighting with her Gundam and going to school. And that's kind of mostly what season 1 is.
Yeah.
Season 1 ends with a violent terrorist attack from the Dawn of the Fold, with which is an Earthian resistance group. And during the attack, Delling, who is the I don't know really what to call him, he feels like he's like the president of everything.
Yeah, he's kind of a political leader.
Yeah, in a way. He ends up taking a severe injury, and the big shocking finale is that Stelletta finally grows the bravery to just do things because they need to be done kind of idea. So she ends up saving her at the moment fiance Mireen, who from someone who's going to kill her by splatting them with the mech. And then Mireen calls her a murderer, and that's kind of where it ends. And you're like, oh shit. And then season 2 is kind of where things become a lot more political.
Yeah.
And kind of for me, this is where a lot of the decline, not that it was bad, but just the suspension of disbelief is broken because all these kids who we're supposed to believe are just basically teenagers at a high school are taking over their families' businesses and or political seats.
Views and seats and just
and it's just okay, but
these
they're
are the only students that matter.
Yeah.
Nobody else.
You're but this is a kid. So yeah, we learn the truth that Ariel, the Gundam that Stelletta Mercury is piloting, is a Gundam.
Wow.
It's not just a machine.
I could never see this coming.
We also learned that the machine is actually a means to save or keep the consciousness of Ari, the daughter of the woman who made the mech. And that's where finally the prologue plays a bigger part, because that's the daughter who initially connects with the Gundam in that.
Yep.
And it turns out that Stelletta is a clone.
Yeah.
Based on how my understanding is a clone of Ari. And that's why she can connect, because she is kind of Ari in a way. But it only works with that specific Gundam, Ariel.
Yeah.
And then it goes really off the rails, because then basically they kick Stelletta out from the mech and just send her to school, and you're only focused on school now.
Yeah.
And then while that's going on, her mom and her dead but not dead older sister, who's still a child at brain, heart, whatever.
Correct.
Then starts to basically try and take over the world. That's basically the gist of it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot more complicated than that.
Season 2 gets real confusing and complicated.
But that's generally what I get. And then at the same time, we have characters like Maureen, who's now blaming herself for all the people that are dying because she basically didn't see
the corruption.
Well, she didn't see how dangerous Stella's mom really was going to be. They were kind of helping each other in a way. And she was trying to also push Stella away from her mom because she realized that her mom was kind of
cuckoo.
Yeah. And yeah, basically that's going on, and it kind of ends with a big battle where Soletta sacrifices her life in a regular Gundam, because even though Gundams are banned, all these companies who know Gundams are banned were still making Gundams
Surprise, surprise.
behind the scenes. Haha, shocker. And killing kids with them and whatnot. But Soletta takes over one, fights to basically save the status quo, if we will. And then there's another entity, government, who's like, oh no, we're gonna delete all of that. So they just want to take over. I can't remember what faction it was, but they want to take over. I've learned that if you want to get into Gundam, this is one show, and I'm already like, she's
So
I need a
confusing,
wiki
yeah.
for just this show, let alone how complicated that regular Gundam universe must be. But yeah, basically, the end is Ariel is gone, the original Gundam mech, but the little sister who was like living in the whatever, I can't remember what it's called, the data stream, is now in a keychain. The mom is in a wheelchair. Everyone's good. Stilletta married what's her face, Maureen, and Maureen is putting her best foot forward to fix the relationship between Earthians and Spatians.
Yep.
At least that's what I got from the ending.
I think you're right.
Yeah, did I leave anything out that you feel like is important?
No, I think we're good.
Okay, very good. Initial thoughts, Matt.
I thought the fight scenes were pretty good overall. Some good choreography for mech fighting. I like a good mech fight. I mean, I'm a Power Ranger fan, so
yeah,
monster fighting
for sure.
giants, you know. I think the music really helps you stay engaged in the story. I think overall, like both the intros, the outros, the OS, like everything overall for the music encompassing was really good and captivating. Gave me similar vibes to Code Geass a little bit in the sense of like a high school kind of sci-fi drama with some mechs. Yeah. And then I started looking into it, and the script writer of this show also wrote Code Geass. And I was
Fair
like,
enough.
oh, okay. Yep. I can see the vibes.
Yeah, they have a niche that they like.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, for me, I have mechs. Pretty much all I knew going into the show. Interesting twist was that the Gundam format is banned.
Yep.
I was not expecting that to be a storyline because it's called Gundam. So I was like, whoa, okay, this is interesting. It's banned and it kills pilots. I don't know if that's a regular thing for them.
Yeah, I don't know if that's normal in Mobile Suit Gundam anime. Don't know,
but all right, I'm on board. The MC was kind of clueless and dumb.
Yep.
And Ariel OP.
Super OP.
Like super OP.
Yeah.
As for animation, character designs, I have down that, first of all, very little CGI.
Which is crazy.
Which, when you think of modern day mechs shows,
it's all CGI.
Or monsters even, you're just thinking there's going to be a lot of CGI.
Yeah.
Where pretty much very little, very minuscule amount, very well done. Going into a modern mech show when you expect that, but was very pleasantly surprised that majority of the show was in fact smooth animation, very solid fights, cool visual effects to go with it, without going over the top Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
Art style was very modern, very high contrast, very colorful. Kind of gave off like a bit of a shoujo vibe.
Yeah.
With like kind of like very soft but colorful. Very good aesthetic overall though. How about you? Do you have any notes for your?
I mean, I think the mechs Gundams looked pretty good. I enjoyed the designs overall.
Yeah, I feel like some of them were based on OG or old other Gundams from other shows.
Some of them looked familiar, but I didn't know.
But I don't know how familiar they are, or if it is literally that mech, they just renamed it and changed a few things. Yeah. I'm not sure. But if there's one thing you know about Gundams is that they do look cool. Exactly. Think about all the kits you see when you go to like a store,
so
like
many.
a nerd store, or
they're everywhere. There's a whole wall, and you're like,
you're like, man, those look sick. But thankfully, I'm not a Gundam fan, so I ain't going down that.
Exactly.
I'm not jumping into that rabbit hole.
Thank you. I love a good school anime where all the characters actually look different, even the ones in the background.
Which is even better since they kind of have them based on different areas. Like, oh, these people are from Earth. These people are Spatians. These people are from Mercury.
Mars, etc. Yeah.
It does bring that diversity in a way where you're like, okay, they are all different in a way.
Yeah.
Coming to the same place.
I agree.
Music was very good, as you mentioned before. Background music, very fitting. Very dynamic for like the battle music, but then has that like tone shift to a more whimsical, lighthearted for the scenes that are like
Yeah,
very much more slice of life feeling. I think the music definitely, if I was to like give it, I'd say the music was like 9 out of 10. It was very well done for the show.
agreed. I think even the intros and outros, like with the animation, like it helped. Like once you're a few episodes in, you start watching the intros more. You're like, oh, this is actually like kind of explaining the story as it
Yes,
goes.
no, yeah, the little
Like the separation of friend groups and like when they're coming and going, and like even like how the um basically between the two main characters, you kind of see them like split apart in the opening, and you're like, oh, this is actually like
we're
it's
following
good
it as it's going.
storytelling,
Yeah.
yeah, which is good. All intros and outros I thought were great. Obviously when I do the music and OST, I always like to like look into extra stuff, and there's like a 4 like CD collection you can buy that's like 4 hours worth of the music from this show.
Holy.
And I'm like, man, they put like so much time into
Well,
it.
and that's the other thing. It did feel like a lot of unique tracks. They weren't like over. Not that I don't think there's anything wrong with reusing tracks. I think that's also what people who aren't as closely paying attention to it,
Yeah.
you start to like notice that iconic song when it comes on. You're like, okay, something's coming up when you think of One Piece.
Tokyo
Naruto.
Ghoul, I think, is one of the bigger ones too. Like,
There's like a song that just comes on. You're like, okay, I know.
yeah, something about is gonna. But I think with this, yeah, there was so much intense and just like unique music, and it just really like helps set the tone from like scene to scene. Like you said, if there's more like an upbeat song or like in the background, you're like, oh, this will be like a happier moment, and then randomly the tone shift from like, ooh, like we're having a great time to like intense sci-fi mech battle. You're like, oh,
Yeah, they do a great job.
yeah, they did really well.
Positives: minimal CGI use.
Yep.
No barrier to entry for this historic and insane universe, which just makes it even more, like we said, there's a lot going on, and it's just this one show, this contained show. I can't even imagine. Don't even want to imagine. I'm sure it's just a mess.
Yep.
The world building was pretty solid. The prologue sets up the non-Gundam format era and how high stakes and scary a Gundam can be, and which also implies once we start that it's revealed that there is a Gundam, we're like, oh, okay, so what's going on?
Yeah, what's going on here?
So I do think it does a good job, and the payoff for the prologue definitely is more in season 2 as we start learning the darker secrets of the main Gundam Ariel.
Yeah.
And who is controlling it / is embodied with it or whatever. But I think the prologue definitely, it almost tricks you, which I feel like is a common for a lot of prologues, is they give you enough, but they're like, oh, so what do you think this is going to be? You think you're following this? Because when I watched the prologue, I was like, okay, we're going to follow this kid.
Yeah.
And then we see the red-haired kid, but then that's not their name. And I'm like, huh, they're not the same kid.
Yeah, and you don't really like prologue really doesn't pay off until season 2.
Yes. Well, it doesn't pay off in terms of those characters, but it does a great job of setting up there are no Gundams.
Yeah.
And there's a big reason for it. We have this whole fight that ended up happening. We see Gundams killing people, and we're like, okay, yeah, those are bad. You probably shouldn't have robots that just kill the pilot. So I feel like it did a good job of setting up that and the understanding of why people are against them, which is very important for season 1 and season 2.
Yeah.
But the payoff of the characters is in season 2. What about you for positives?
I think I kind of already mentioned it, but I think the prologue sets a different. This is both a positive and a negative, where the positive sets a different tone in comparison to the first bit of the first season, so it can almost be like off-putting. Because kind of like you, where I was like, oh, like the prologue goes like, oh, this is gonna be insane. Like I'm really curious where this is gonna go, and then it just jumps to like a school drama for a couple. Obviously, there's a sprinkle of
It's
mechs,
like on
but
and off, yeah.
yeah. So that's both a positive and a negative I have. But I think, like I said, the positives of music, the Gundam designs, the designs overall, and like a captivating story for the most part.
Yep. Negatives?
Again, the prologue a little bit. The plot of having to marry the lead student is a little weird. That's just a nitpick for me, because like that's such like when you're dealing with like politics and like illegalness of like Gundams and stuff like that, and then you just have like this little subplot of like, oh, whoever is the best fighter, they get to marry the lead student. And
Well, she's not
like,
the lead student. She's like the
the daughter of the president
yeah.
basically. But I know that also like makes her character like hate everything, and like that's kind of her
Yeah, it has a
character.
big impact on her and how she thinks and her relationship with her father.
Yeah.
And it's also later revealed like the whole reasoning behind it, right?
Yeah. I just didn't care for that plot per se. And then I also didn't like the main character. It's not that I didn't like her,
No,
but
I
she was
didn't like
just
her.
kind of annoying.
I wouldn't say annoying. I think
Like,
she was almost too ignorant.
yeah, like
As
clueless.
someone who is a pilot of a mech,
A single mech.
as someone who's a pilot of a mech, it just felt very bizarre that she knew literally nothing.
Yeah.
Like nothing. And then when she switched to a different mech, she was also a little bit clueless. It's like she really wasn't even a pilot.
Yeah.
Like, and when we did see her fight, half the time she wasn't fighting. It was the gun bits, which are just like her sister taking over basically on autopilot, doing everything for her.
Made no sense.
So I felt like she was almost too stupidly ignorant that it was almost not believable.
Yeah.
Where she was just that she was that clueless. But then when you think about it, we don't know, did she, because it's never covered, was she made a clone and grew up from a young age, or is she basically a newborn at 14-ish?
Yeah,
right?
where's that? Yeah.
And we know that her mom obviously hid tons from her. I understand that, but I don't know. I feel like if you're paying attention to anything, like you should still pick up on some stuff. But yeah, she was definitely not the best main character. I kind of feel like actually I would say the best character might be was his name Ghoul or what? Do you know who I'm talking about? The one pink-haired guy.
Oh,
One of the Jedrick group.
Yeah.
The oldest of the Jedrick group. I think his name was Ghoul. He probably had the most development. And you already saw it from season 1, because season 1, he's like the person who's engaged, and then he loses it, and he's like, I can never lose, and that's like his identity, is that he's so good at fighting with the mechs, and then he has to deal with that because he's lost multiple times, and then he's basically like, not disowned, but basically like, yeah, you're leaving school and you're gonna go do other stuff by his dad, and he goes through a lot. He also ends up killing his own dad and then having to fight his brother. But it's just, he goes through a lot.
Yeah, he has like the most character development.
He really does, though. Like, I would say him and
Yeah, cool, yeah.
Mireen in some ways, like hers is like, she's a little bit more bouncy.
Yeah.
But he was one of the better characters, I think.
Agreed.
Anything else for your dislikes?
No, that was all I had for dislikes.
I had down, as mentioned before, Ariel's is too OP, but it does also make sense because like at this moment she's the only Gundam, and it kind of shows off that Gundams are another level. I can at least accept that, but I just felt sometimes it was just like, what's the even point of watching the duel? Because
you know that she's just gonna win.
you know she's gonna win. Even when like the mech would lose both legs and an arm, you're like, she's still gonna win. It was just, you never worried about it.
Yeah, exactly.
So it took a lot out of that. I felt like the pacing of season 2 was too fast.
I think season 1 was like
perfect.
Felt more of like a drama slice of life almost,
and it didn't feel like slow.
Yeah.
It didn't feel too slow, but it didn't feel fast. You're just like, okay.
And then season 1 like ends on a solid like cliffhanger, smashes the kid. You're like, oh, cool, this is gonna be great. And then season 2 just like
speed runs it,
burns constantly, and there was no time to breathe.
Yeah, I feel like it would have. I think 3 seasons would have been perfect. Because it would have given a lot more time to build up a lot of the relationships or the broken relationships of characters, and also give a lot more info on, because we know that Earthians and Spatians hate each other, but we don't get a lot of why and how and what's led to this. And it would have been cool to get maybe an episode or two talking a lot more about the conflict between them to understand it more.
Agreed.
Especially before, because we have Mirren go in to talk to the Earthian leaders to try and like set up some sort of truce, or I can't remember exactly what they were discussing, but that's when the first attack comes in, where Seletta's mom ends up like hacking and having them attack her, and then she ends up attacking them and causing basically the conflict. if we could have gotten more episodes discussing like that relationship between Earthians and Spatians prior to that,
which could be covered in the grand scheme of the Gundam sphere.
I don't know. I don't know if there's more stuff on this universe.
That's what I mean.
Because I don't know if real Gundams killed their pilots. I think that's exclusive to this.
You think it's exclusive to this? Okay.
Yeah. That's what I mean. I don't know if there's a lot more out of this universe to cover that, but it just felt like we needed a little bit more context for that. Some of the other characters, their motives or their building had to happen like in 5 minutes instead of a little bit more organically feeling. So I just felt like overall season 2 was a little bit too quick. And I think, like you mentioned, if there was just that room to breathe where you have an extra 12 episodes and you can just spread it over and including that conflict more naturally feeling, I think it would have been a lot better. What else do I have down? Oh, and then as mentioned also, kids 1 minute running are just, participating in these duels. We see them going to school and participating in like the team events where they're like, okay, this is the pilot, but the pilot might not always be able to see. They need to have people on the outside, their engineers and their spotters and whatnot. And we get to see kind of how they're teaching. And that's kind of a cool element of the story.
Yeah.
We see it like 2 times and that's it. And then all of a sudden they're running a company. Then all of a sudden they're becoming like the president or leaders of multi-billion-dollar factions. And they're all still kids. I don't know. It just felt like they wanted the writer wanted the kids to show them like more in I don't know, like youthful, and then have them be like, oh, but I want these same characters to be involved with the final conflict, but then didn't age them. I don't know. It just felt it felt very forced and weird that all those they went from, oh yeah, school, doing stuff in school. Oh no, business. Oh no, actually even more so. I'm just taking over my father's whole company. I'm taking over the presidency. Like,
it was.
And they're still just kids.
Yep.
So I don't know.
Just youngins. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. What's the worst that could happen? But before we get into our final thoughts and enjoyment levels, I think we should jump over to Troy from Nerdy Misfit Gaming.
Take it away, Troy.
Hello, this is Troy from the Nerdy Misfit Gaming. This is my little review of Mobile Suit Gundam, The Witch from Mercury. I thought it was a solid Gundam show. It's kind of setting of a teenage high school who use Gundams to kind of duel each other fairly commonly. It's got moments of some slice of life, so obviously shonen due to the Gundam, and some pretty dark moments as the show kind of evolves. You learn new plot twists that really kind of get dark. I feel like that even though it is a Gundam show, it did very well in showing and adapting to other aspects other than just the fighting. The school has many different kind of housing groups to say. All groups really seem to kind of just want to become the most powerful. So they do underhand deals, a lot of politics, a lot of behind the scenes deals, and just a lot more politics. Later in the show, it feels like it jumps around quite a bit between a lot of that, and it can kind of get a little tough to follow. So you kind of got to really figure out who is who. But it wasn't too bad. I thought the prologue episode was actually really good. I just didn't expect it to, when you got to actually see episode 1, that it jumps so far more in the future. I thought it was going to start right after the war, but it jumps. I think they said like a good 15, 20 years or whatever it was. So it was quite maybe not 20, but it was a good jump, a time jump from the prologue to episode 1. I thought the art and animation were really well done. The fighting action scenes were great. The colors and the details were really good. And the animation I thought was pretty dang smooth. The music and sound effects were good as well. Nothing really felt out of place, and I just felt like it helped the series keep moving along seamlessly. Now for the thing I probably disliked the most, the politics. I'm just not one for politics as a whole. I know like half the show kind of redeemed or based around like half of it, but politics just kind of lose me. I just lose interest. Like I said before, they kind of just jumped around like midway through, kind of more into the second season of just everyone trying to jump over each other and really try to underhand each other and be shady to each other, and it just got a little bit much. I get, it needs this kind of show needs stuff like that, but it's just not what I'm into. The thing I probably liked the most was them actually showing more than just a Shonen Gundam series. It needed those other moments of not just the fighting, showing the slice of life moments, the high school moments, the little love moments, the real darker moments. Really, really did help the show. So overall, I thought it was a solid anime. I gave it a 7.5 out of 10. If you want a Gundam show that shows more than just the Gundam and dabbles into other genres, I think you'll give it a go.
Thank you, Troy. We don't know what you said yet, but I assume you liked it.
You enjoyed the fights at least.
The fights were cool.
Yeah.
But Matt, you were the one who suggested mechs. How were you? How did you feel after?
I mean, for enjoyment, final thoughts, recommendation, rating, the whole shebang. I thought it was overall pretty good. I mean, I feel like I don't know anything about, like, I can't really compare it to anything because, like, the only mech Gundam animes I can really think of that I've seen is Kogias and Gurren Lagann.
Gurren Lagann is pretty mechy.
It's pretty mechy. So I think the story was fine. The animation was pretty good. The music was great. It's just, I enjoyed it. I'd be willing to throw another mech anime in the future for anime of the month, just to kind of keep this train going of trying out different animes and such,
Yeah.
I think personally, overall, I'd give it like a 7.5 as a whole. I'm up there with like what my anime list is giving it, like 7.8 maybe ish.
Yeah.
But what about you, Connor?
Yeah, I would. I'd say it's probably leaning more that 7.5 to 8. I think the music is definitely far above average.
Yeah.
From anime. I thought the overall animation is also above average. In a lot of ways. I just think really it was only season 2, just that pacing that really kind of broke it a bit for me and doesn't make it like a really great show. But overall, as a quick 24 episode, because you don't even have to separate them as realistically as 2 separate seasons, like 25 eps.
Yeah, it's the full story. Yeah. Would have been nicer to get a couple more episodes at least, but
I would say like 7.5 or 8. Yeah. I'm leaning towards the 8 just because of how good the music was.
Yeah.
The no CGI for mech fights. The fights were great. Yeah, I would say overall, if you're looking for an interesting world with cool mech fights and awesome music,
give it a try.
Then I would totally recommend it. And, if you want to dip your toes into the crazy Gundam universe, this is not a bad place to be like, how do I feel about things we're going? Yeah. But also, I think it could be confusing because I feel like if you really like it and you're like, I'm going to try out start going down that.
Look up the timelines.
And look up where you should be watching. I think it's going to be a very different overall feel just due to the fact that I don't think the Gundams are killing people.
Yeah.
I think it is very political still, and robots are definitely fighting. But I definitely think it's missing that interesting element that this is what the twist is for this universe, is that Gundams kill you. But yeah, I definitely would say I enjoyed it. Did feel a little bit rushed at the end, but whenever it's not the first anime or manga that we've had that happen. But yeah, I would definitely recommend it. 2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs up. A Nerdy Misfit approved anime.
Do you want to go into what our anime of the month will be for May, Matt?
May anime is Karuhana wa Rin Tusaka.
Or The Fragrant Flower Blooms with Dignity.
Yes. Believe is this one up for a couple?
Yep, this one is up for a few different awards. Definitely up for romance. It's up for, I think, maybe it was Slice of Life. You know how they're like combining.
Yeah, basically the same, but kind of different.
Drama or something like that.
But yeah, so this one obviously air date back in summer 2025, episode 13 episodes, studios Cloverworks. Probably heard of them. Genre is drama, romance. Minimalist score of 8.52. The synopsis. Here we go. The all-girls Kikyo Private Academy and Shidori Public High School are polar opposites. With its prestigious history, Kyoko is attended by noble young ladies from distinguished families, while Chidori is infamously full of simple-minded delinquents. It is no surprise that their students clash with their differences. I wonder if two characters will be from the two different schools.
It could happen.
Having a tall stature and fierce appearance, Chidori student Rintaro Tsumugi is often avoided by others despite his gentle heart. And one day, while helping out his family's
patisserie,
he meets a customer who, after a brief moment, runs away from him. The next day, the customer returns to apologize to Rintaro, introducing herself as the cheerful Kaoruki Waguri.
It's giving some Horimiya vibes.
Yeah. And after spending some time with Karuku, Rintaro appreciates that she does not judge him based on his appearance and looks forward to when they will meet again. However, oh no. When Rintaro discovers Kyoku attends Kyoku, their relationship will challenge the social expectations and the dynamics around them.
Does have some very classic romance tropes for sure. It's all about the characters, though.
It's all about the characters, and sitting at an 8.5 with cliche.
People must have liked it.
It's got to be good.
Because Horimiya, also relatively cliche, but man, that was a fantastic show we watched. As Matt mentioned, this is a nominee for the Crunchyroll Awards. I believe we'll also be doing another Crunchyroll Award nominee for next month. If you have not seen our nominees of our own ballot, we did an episode all about it with Gray, so you should check that out. I'll put a link to it down below or whatever.
We also posted what we voted for on Instagram. So if you're on Instagram and you're not following us, make sure to give us a follow.
Yeah, and you could let us know what you guys voted for and if this is your top romance from last year. Other than that, anything else, Matt, we should mention? I think, they should subscribe.
Oh, yeah, obviously.
Hit that bell. We post every Wednesday for the Nerdy Misfit podcast and every Monday where we're currently covering the MCU in release order. Other than that, hope you guys have a great day whenever you watch this. Hopefully it's Wednesday because, early bird gets the worm.
Exactly.
And we'll see you guys next month for Anime of the Month when the fragrant flower blooms
with dignity.
TNMP, the Nerdy Misfit Podcast. Don't forget to join the island by dropping a follow. Thank you, and see you next week.